Wicks.
Good evening. A major incident has been declared in Scotland as Storm Gerrit batters much of the UK. 18,000 properties are without power, and disruption to travel has left many unable to make their journeys home after Christmas. British Airways has grounded flights, ScotRail shut some of its routes, and fallen trees have blocked roads. Our North of England reporter Kelly Foran has more.
As you can see, we are stuck on the A9. Looks like we might be here for the night.
A white Christmas might look pretty, but not so much when you're stranded in it.
We've been here for 3 hours now, stuck in the snow, along with hundreds of other vehicles by the look of it, stretching back to Aviemore in that direction.
Here on the A9 in Scotland, a major incident declared as drivers unable to move.
We've had a knock on the window from the police. That was about 2-3 hours ago, and they just said, well, we're stuck as well, so we've got nothing to tell you. And at that point, the ploughs were stuck, but luckily enough, it looks like the ploughs are actually now starting to move. So we've got one just coming past us now, or to right towards us, in fact. Wow. So I'm hoping that he's going to clear the way for us, and then we're going to be able to do a U-turn and start heading north.
And it's not just snow. In Fife this afternoon, residents rescued from their flooded homes. A series of Met Office yellow weather warnings for snow, wind and rain are in place until tomorrow morning. Strong gusts have been bringing down trees, some onto power lines. Thousands of homes across the country without electricity, including in the Peak District. Here in Chapel-on-the-Thrift, almost 600 homes have had power cuts over the last day or so. Electricity North West say they are on standby and expecting more of the same as the night goes on.
So the wind can cause some serious problems for the overhead line network, where you get windborne debris or trees and branches knocking into overhead lines. When there's really strong winds, it can prevent the overhead line teams from climbing, which can cause a little bit of a delay, but we'll make sure that we do it as safely and as quickly as possible to get people back on.
Electricity North West have extra staff on standby as conditions are expected to worsen. Storm Gerrit is the fourth major weather incident in as many weeks. In Bournemouth today, a walk by the seaside, brisk to say the least. Flights have been cancelled, roads closed, and there's been disruption to trains too, with more flooding and damage expected overnight. Kelly Foran, ITV News.
Christmas has not seen any let-up in the Israel-Gaza war, with the Hamas-run health ministry reporting 200 people have been killed by Israeli airstrikes in the past 24 hours. That brings the total Palestinian deaths to more than 21,000 since the attacks of October the 7th. Israel says the war, which the Palestinian president has described as beyond a war of annihilation, is far from over. And a warning, this report from Mark McCullin contains images viewers may find upsetting.
In southern Gaza earlier, yet more desperate scenes. Casualties brought here to a hospital in the city of Khan Yunis following heavy strikes from Israel overnight. This woman is anxiously waiting for news about her son. He went out to get flour, she says. It was a journey that would end in tragedy. Her son, Mahmoud, did not make it. One of more than 200 to have been killed in the space of just 24 hours. And Israel shows no sign of slowing down. The offensive continues as it aims to crush Hamas in response to their attack in southern Israel in October, which killed around 1,200. The human cost is huge. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 21,000 civilians have been killed, including many women and children. What is happening to the Palestinian people, says Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president, is horrific, not only in Gaza, but in the West Bank and Jerusalem in the last 79 days. In Khan Yunis, the Nasser hospital continues to treat casualties under unimaginable strain. The situation is perilous and shows no signs of abating despite international pressure, with Israel warning this war could continue for many more months. Mark McQuillan, ITV News.
Some other news now, and here almost 89,000 NHS appointments had to be rescheduled because of last week's junior doctor strikes. Junior doctors walked out between the 20th and the 23rd of December. Further industrial action is planned for 6 days, starting next Wednesday. And the number of people heading to the high street for Boxing Day sales was up by 4% yesterday compared to a year ago. Stores in central London were the biggest draw for shoppers this year, with footfall up almost 11%. And finally, an IT glitch which led to hundreds of people being wrongfully convicted of theft is the subject of a new TV drama. Mr. Bates versus the Post Office tells the story of post office staff whose lives were wrecked by the Horizon IT scandal. Our entertainment reporter Rishi Davda has more.
It says I've taken £2,032.67 more than I think I have.
Often described as one of the biggest miscarriages of justice in British history, the post office scandal robbed people of their livelihoods and changed their lives forever.
It must be a bug.
Around 700 sub-postmasters and sub-postmistresses were wrongly prosecuted, some even jailed, after faulty accounting system Horizon created massive financial discrepancies.
The computer system Post Office spent an arm and a leg on.
Mr. Bates versus the Post Office is a new series that tells the real story of sub-postmaster Alan Bates, who alongside others fought to prove his innocence.
Fraud itself is quite a tricky crime for people to key straight into. So I'm kind of ashamed of how little I did know about it at the time, and hopefully putting it into dramatic form will help people to appreciate just how these very normal, regular lives were completely upended.
The scandal started when the system was first introduced back in 1999. The drama, which is out on ITV next week, details a journey to justice which is still ongoing.
What I really hope people come away feeling is a sense of the urgency about accountability, because that's something that's diminishing. That's kind of depressing and upsetting.
Though tireless campaigning and multiple court cases has led to some convictions being overturned and the promise of significant compensation, meaningful progress has been slow.
Not one of the 500 and so brought the original case has received full financial redress. And despite promises by ministers, they wanted the majority of cases to be resolved by now. And not one has been totally resolved.
We're all here for the meeting.
Many sub-postmasters were led to believe they were alone in their accounting woes. But there were similar stories across the country. Individuals that later banded together to take on the Post Office. Rishi Davda, ITV News.
And that is about it from me for now. I'm back with all the latest headlines at 10. Do join me then. Bye-bye.